What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nateland podcast. Hello, folks. I am Nate Bargatze, Aaron Weber, Brian Bates. We are back. We did not do last week because we finished up the one night only tour. So thank you to everybody that came out to that. All the drive-in movie theater dates. It was I thought it was great. I loved them.
Yeah.
You know, people. There's such a different thing, and to get used to doing them and performing with, people are sitting in their cars and they're kind of farther away. But I got kind of, I really got used to it. I liked it.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, it's there. There. It's just fun. Like you can hear the crowd. They're honking or for laughs. Everybody did great. Nick, I see Nick's not here, which we miss Nick. Nick was amazing, and so it was, fun hang. I mean, we had a fun hang. I was, sad when it was over.
Yeah, me too.
There was definitely different. Did you ever find anything out about your? Aaron left a jacket.
I called and nobody answered, and then I kind of gave up. But I got that NASCAR jacket, so I feel good about my jacket situation now.
Yeah, you haven't wore the NASCAR jacket yet on the podcast.
I'm wearing it at home around the house.
I know, but you got to bring it to the podcast.
Right.
I mean, everybody would like to see it.
Yeah, I'll wear it.
Yeah.
You're
wearing the opposite jacket today. A jacket of a man that doesn't approve his son going to NASCAR is the jacket you have on right now.
That's true.
That is. You got to come in with that NASCAR jacket. That hat and that jacket don't go together. Notre Dame champs.
Yeah.
What is that?
2019
ACC women's tournament.
Oh, really?
Women's basketball. Okay.
Yeah.
A little false advertising right there. I mean, something. You're grabbing something.
I know.
And you won the ACC championship? They made that hat for just the ACC
the women's tournament. Yeah, well, we lost in the championship game last year, 2019.
Yeah. So they so they just already had that hat made, and then they just put underneath it ACC basketball.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
Yeah.
Well, congrats.
Thanks, man.
You guys did great.
I appreciate it.
It's exciting stuff. It was, I'm trying to think of anything we did special on the tour. Where did we go? We went to a bunch of places. We filmed a lot of stuff. We golfed a lot.
Yeah.
Filmed a ton. Got some great stuff. Nick's going to be, the idea is, I was hoping to, because we were filming all this stuff. I've started filming stuff on the road, and we post on my YouTube channel, The Road Life with Nate. And Mike Lavin, or the homeless pimp, you can go follow him on social media. We had all this stuff, so we're trying to see if we can put together some kind of documentary. Not like we're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
we don't even know. Me and Mike are just talking about it. I'm like, I don't know. I've never done one. And so he's done
filmed
something.
A lot of cool stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. And I think we can do it. We went golfing, filmed the whole day of golfing, and that was fun. And Nick was out there on the cart, and I mean Nick's going to be the star of this documentary. Nick's the star of everything. He's so good. It was fun. And then so we went from Houston, and you guys went back home, and then I went and we taped a special. It is taped. I wanted it to be taped. I was so worried that something was going to pop, something's going to happen and we're not going to get to tape it. And we ended up shooting the special for Netflix, did 2 shows. It ended up, I believe, being really good. It's going to be very interesting to see the cut. Could have some different stuff in it. Some stuff I wasn't expecting to happened because it was outside.
Yeah.
And they had 100 people. The audience had masks, which was definitely tough. I got used to the timing of, talking outside and the laughs being kind of delayed or not hearing them great. But when the audience wear a mask, you realize that's tough because you can't see. It's hard to hear them, and then you can't see their face. So you kind of start talking a lot quicker, and you can't tell if do these people hate this because there's no reaction. Even if I couldn't hear laughs, you could see movement at the trucks or in the cars. You could see some kind of sign of enjoyment. And the special, it was tough, but it ended up being good. Everybody that did it was awesome, And yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, I heard it went amazing, man. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Where'd you hear that?
Mike.
Yeah.
I want to text Nate the day is recorded. So I was
Yeah.
texting Mike. I said, send me some updates. Let me know how it's
Yeah.
going. He said it went great.
Yeah, it went great. It was definitely very different. There's some stuff, I should see a cut of it this week, so I'm very curious to see. We had some stuff happen that I'll be, I don't want to say in case it doesn't. If it doesn't get in, I'll tell you. But it was being outside. Had some distractions, and I'm hoping that it plays into it. I think, I don't know. I think it can, and it's going to be very interesting. Hoping it comes out. I don't know when it's going to come out. I know I'll get asked a lot, but we're hoping beginning of next year it comes out sometime. So obviously you guys will know here in Nateland whenever we do it. But yeah, it was a good time. Good little tour. I have 2 more dates. 2 more dates, San Diego and Anaheim. If you guys want to come out to the drive-in theater, we're doing 2 shows out there. Nick will be with me there, and Dustin Nickerson will be with me. He's a San Diego boy.
Yeah.
In Anaheim. So we'll be come out to those shows. Those will be fun. I'll be officially, and everybody that did come out. I mean, it truly was a big help for everybody to come to these shows for that special, because I needed to get prepared for it. And so everybody that came, the audience that came, it was huge. So yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some night. We got a lot of comments because we'll read some from the Bigfoot episode, which we didn't have any. So this is gonna be a big comment episode. First up, Amateur Lurker. This is a great podcast if you're looking for entertainment that has nothing to do with the polarizing politics or controversial current events. I thoroughly enjoy Nate, Aaron, and Breadbasket riffing on random subjects each week. They are by no means experts on anything, which is why I appreciate the banter. Podcast hosts often talk with a level of conviction that is off-putting, but not these guys. Not even when you get stumped with the word that he's like, here's the big word.
Proving their point.
I thought off-putting would be the problem, but
no. Conviction was the problem. Turns out conviction was the problem. Yes, that is. This is a big week too. Your birthday is in 2 days, right? The 3rd?
Well, it'll be the day before. My birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then this comes out on the 4th.
Your birthday, the 3rd.
Yes.
Yeah, and this will be out the 4th. So Breadbasket's got a little birthday coming up.
Just assume you guys got me something.
I did. I got you this podcast.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Aaron approves.
We will have an election, which we're not going to talk about that.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet. It'll be happening tomorrow. I'm trying to do a joke about it. I was debating if I was going to do it on this podcast or save it for on stage. I like to keep stuff to save it for the stand-up. I don't know. It's about the idea of like celebrities telling people to vote. I don't want to do too, but it's just so funny. I mean, that's what we're not going to be. That infuriates me. Just celebrities that are like, hey, everybody, go vote. Make sure you vote. I'm sure you somehow figured out how to log into Instagram, but maybe you don't know how to vote. Like that's how stupid these people are.
Yeah.
You figured out a password for Facebook, but maybe you forgot voting. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a president that's like the boss of the country, and people vote. Do you know? And people are at home like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
That's what I think. How stupid there are people. The audacity to talk to an audience is insane to me.
Yeah.
And pure insanity to me.
It makes me want to not vote, to be honest with you.
It infuriates me. I will never I hope, but I don't ever plan on telling someone to vote. Yeah. I just can't imagine my high school education is the thing that you need to hear from. I just don't think that I'm the one that's going to be like, hey, everybody, I know you somehow have a Netflix account and you figured that out, but you can't figure out voting. Stay in line if they come push you out of the line. Just telling them all these long things. They're going to stop you. They're going to, make sure you get out there and vote. It's still, these people are the worst. the worst alive. I mean, I think about it all the time. I think about how angry I get at just celebrities telling people that are smarter, their audience that is smarter than them. Their audience is way smarter than them. We go watch your dumb movie, and then you go, "Hey,
I never thought about that." Yeah,
you figured out how to go to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
You
went online, you bought a ticket.
I love Jennifer Aniston. I love her. But yeah, I mean, going Instagram going, hey, everybody, you might not know, but there's an election coming up. Like,
yeah, I've heard
I'm watching. Yeah. I've found you. You're kind of a popular thing. So if I found you, I would imagine I could find out that there's an election going on.
Right.
And no one's just sitting at home going, is that today? Is that? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Right.
It's unbelievable. That's the joke. I'm already ruining it. That's the idea of it. That's like reminding people to eat. That's like if you made an announcement going, hey, everybody, if you eat, did you eat food today? And they're like, what? What is food? Well, I'm a celebrity, and I know that you should eat.
Remember to get out there and eat.
Remember to get out there and eat. Is your stomach feel weird? That's because you haven't eaten. And you got to do it. Today's the day. Every day, actually, you need to eat. It's unreal, dude. It's the most talk. You talk down to just every person alive that just sits there. If you found this podcast, I would imagine you've heard about voting.
Yeah, you know.
If you found anybody that just is not in your house, like if you're living in a house and your dad goes vote and you're like, I didn't know to vote, but I've been locked in the basement for 18 years. That person should hear about voting. Yeah. If you know who Brad Pitt is, I imagine you've heard about voting. Just if you flat out are like, I've seen one of the Avenger movies, then I'm sure you've stumbled upon something about voting.
Yeah, the idea of an election.
The idea of that we do vote.
Right.
Is that crazy?
No, I'm with you 100%.
No, you like it, though. You like that they say it, right?
No. I don't care one way or the other.
I think it's insulting. I think it's wild. I was going to save it all.
I think it's crazy that somebody would not want to vote, and then Jeremy Renner tells them to,
and they go, right, "Oh, okay." Explain, Jeremy Renner. How do you do it though? Oh, well, it's all right. You ready for this? You ready for this? Do you have a driver's license? They're like, I don't know. An ID? You have anything? You have a wallet? He's like, I don't know. I carry my stuff in a plastic bag. Okay, that's fine. In that plastic bag, do you have a thing with your picture of your face on it by any chance?
Yeah.
Well, go show that. And then there's buttons, and you press the button of the person that you want to be president.
Wow.
And you press that button, and it works. And that's what's got to happen. Have you seen those mailboxes? You write it in. You got to write it in.
Yeah.
And then you write in the person that's running for the boss of the country. They're going to be the boss.
The boss of the country.
And so we're all going to go decide, hey, who gets to be that boss? And then someone at home's like, I mean, I get a choice? Yeah, you get a choice. None of you went to school. How you doing? I've made millions of dollars, and I'm smarter and more famous than you. That's what they're saying to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Did quite well for myself. I was famous in the 90s, and you're probably stupid. So get out there and vote. I hope people don't vote because of it. That's what I could care less. Vote or don't vote. Do whatever you want to go do. You're a grown up. You're smarter than every dumb celebrity on earth. They're all stupid. Go vote, guys. December 90th. Hey, whatever the date is. They go. When is it? Ours is coming after the election.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. We tell you to vote the day. Was it yesterday? I didn't. Dadgummit. I took my Jen Aniston notifications off, and I must have missed it. That's what I think they think. Like it would be like if you went to a movie and you watched a movie with like Captain America, and then you only see stuff that he says, and then he goes, "Hey, do you know voting's tomorrow?" You're like, "No, I was waiting for you to tell. I only listen to you. Is the weather going to be
Yeah,
nice?
thank God you reminded me.
Yeah.
'Cause I
No.
wouldn't have known.
I didn't know that. I only watch your movies all day long, and I just follow you. So it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I get a say in it. I get to push a button. It's going to be hard. It's hard to figure out
Right.
where to go. All right. Sorry. There's the joke. I'll tighten it up for the stage. It makes me. I didn't know when would that joke work after the election? I mean, I think
I don't know.
I think you can make it work whenever, and I think by the time I would ever shoot another special, we'd be back to another election. So I bet it can always come back around, and I'm sure I'll have more stuff. It drives me nuts, dude. Nerve.
You got one more day of it.
One more day and they're going hard now. Yeah. I mean, I think your goal is to get famous enough to be like, I got to tell people to vote. And I love the not famous people doing it. The ones that we have friends that are just, you're like, nobody cares. No one listens to your art that you do good at, much less, hey, let me talk to, dude, they're talking to random states. There's celebrities in California are going, hey, Georgia.
Come on,
what
Ohio.
Are you crazy? Can't sell out a bar in Georgia. Hey, Pennsylvania. All my Pennsylvania fans. You probably haven't heard about an election. That's like being people just going I'm tired of fracking. I have no idea what fracking is. I have no clue. And you just hear people going, we can't have it. Yeah. And you're like, do we need it? Maybe we need all of it. Or maybe we need none of it. All right. Nicholas Jones. Sorry, you got to get the brunt of this, Nicholas. Nicholas is like, I don't want to be tied into this. As someone who gets significant anxiety, especially around current events, that's so funny. Nicholas is, just freaking out right now. He's like, this was my safe. But the point of this is we're still not talking about anything. We're making fun of them talking about this stuff, which I think anybody that hates it would like this.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's going to be like, guys, don't talk about politics. I'm saying, you're right. No one should. You should listen to your aunt. Nicholas Jones, someone who gets significant anxiety, especially around current events. It's awesome to have such a funny podcast to listen to that helps me block out the outside world for a short time. I literally listen to it every night to help me fall asleep. I also appreciate you giving a platform to lesser known comics like Aaron and Nick and completely unknown names like Bosco. I like Nicholas. He's not sleeping tonight. No. Nicholas, welcome back up, buddy. I'm sorry.
Having nightmares.
Nicholas is pacing the room. Betty Boop, are we fans of the podcast officially called Folks or Natelanders? Please share ideas so Biscotti can get a list going. Are fans of are they called Folks or Natelanders? I like both of those. Folks or Natelanders.
I saw somebody comment Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club.
That's
pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Breakfast Club's good. Ooh. We can take a vote.
Warriors?
Can we do a vote?
The Warriors.
The Warriors are good. You want to just call the podcast your podcast?
Those are the people submitting ideas.
I would say we should do a vote. We could do a vote. Folks, Natelanders. We're all equal. I always feel weird kind of sometimes saying it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you guys are doing just as good as I'm doing in life. So, but remember to vote. Folks, Natelanders. We should do a vote. Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody.
You feel weird?
You get out there and
that's our election.
That's our election is going, hey, you might not have heard. How you doing? Nate Bargatze here. What?
You feel weird saying what?
I always feel weird about saying fans. You do say fans. It always just, and again, I think it's come into the people just talking to their fans, I think is kind of disgusting. I think it's gross it's like, I'm trying to be an entertainer. I hope that I want you to be a fan of me. I want you to like what I do, but I'm not above you. Yeah. I'm just like, here's my thing that I create. That's funny that I try to just be your awayness from all the nonsense. I'm not going to talk to you like I'm the Lord of, and that's how people, and I think that's what it comes off to me as, is people going, let me tell you got a platform. Go tell your fans to do what you think is right. Like, I think that's crazy. You hope to have a lot of fans, but I do see it. I do like the idea of folks, Nateland, because we would all be one. we would be a folk.
That's right.
Or a Natelander, or part of the Breakfast Club. We'd be in it too. Alex Irvin brought my 65-year-old mother to the show in Houston, and when Baba O'Reilly left the stage, I said, "Ooh, I love breakfast." And this, of course, raised an immediate question, which I was happy to answer. Yesterday, she and I were driving somewhere and talking about the show. She said, "Yeah, I like Billy Bob." I just gave an approving nod with a golf clap. Very proud. She gets it.
She gets it.
She gets it. My mom is 65. Me and Alex might be the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People would yell that a lot during the shows. I heard people yell out breakfast. And
yeah,
they're getting
a few
into
others.
A lot of B stuff.
Yep.
Some stuff we can't say on the podcast. Lauren C. To the brave soul who wrote in about his breakup, I also just got dumped, and I'll be at Nate's show in Nashville in December. If you'd like to grab a bite in Nate's favorite restaurant, the concession stand before. Just throwing it out there. Ooh, might get a little love match.
Yeah. Harrison.
Harrison
Kesey, I think was his
Harrison
name.
Kesey. Harrison and Lauren, maybe you guys get together. Be honest with you, there's a great chance that show's not happening in December. So maybe have to keep rolling it forward. All my shows look, these places have to open up, and that's the problem. So if you have these dates, I will reschedule these dates so you can obviously just hang on to these tickets. And then they are just, whenever it comes back around, it's just going to be at a later date. I get asked that a lot. I have no control over this. I had some guy doing the Netflix special. He emailed like my website or something and said, "Yo, Nate, what's up with all the hoops for the special?" And you're like, I mean, maybe that guy definitely doesn't know about voting, because you're like, I don't know if that guy, you're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, what's a test?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, yeah, dude, it's I mean, the whole world shut down.
Like you're setting California policy.
Yeah.
No,
you're like, you're like, I know, man, but I'm just trying to be safe. And I want to make sure you want it. How much do you want it? Jessica Van de Pute. There's a chance I said that right. No, you don't think so?
I love the way you
Van
said
de
it.
Pute. Hello, folks. I'm a couple episodes behind, but this is in response to Harrison's comment, shooting my shot on Nateland. Harrison, I'm that single 29-year-old woman ready for some popcorn at the drive-in. Harrison, you got too much going on. I mean, Harrison.
You got to slow down now, man.
I mean, Harrison, good night. I mean,
this podcast has changed his life.
He got Jessica and Lauren. I mean, it's getting out of control. Harrison, living it up, living his best life. I mean, he might not, he's got a lot. He's like, I just got a lot to think about. He's just paused the podcast and just clicked on both of their. He's now going through the comments trying to find out where were their comments at. I mean, and as they are doing the same, they might have already done it.
Yeah.
So they probably already did it, and so that's why they're like, "Well, Harrison was a good-looking fella," and so then they
already looked him up. You think?
I would bet.
Yeah.
I would bet. And now Harrison has paused us, and he's typing in. He's like, what? Lauren C. and Jessica Van de Put. Harrison. I figured he right there. He just goes, what was their name again? Lauren C. Jessica Van de Put.
He's on Facebook right now.
He's like, thanks, man. Just typed in Lauren C. And he's like, got a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of scrolling.
All right. Coco Hubert. Love the podcast. Suggestion for Nate. If people can't be nice in comments, don't read them. Completely understand why Aaron would get offended at the comment by someone named White Bread. This podcast should be fun, not demeaning or insulting. Thank you, Coco. We try not to like, a lot of times, we talked about that earlier on, you comment on the mean comments. Those are usually the ones that you're going to have a conversation with. But I think you guys have done great with comments in the fact that they're funny and there's something to them. We have a lot of them. Most of them you couldn't, if they're just, hey, this podcast is great. No one's going to want to hear us read 15 of those. But these are legit long podcasts. They're actually, people enjoy hearing what they're going to say. Right. So they've done a very good job. And I agree. I agreed with White Bread, though. I don't remember what White Bread said, but something.
I remember they had a big, long, nice comment at the very end. They were like, oh, and Brian's not funny or something.
Oh, it was about you or Aaron?
No, I thought White Bread was the one that called you out on your ridiculous math skills.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
White Bread gets it.
Said it was a joke.
Sorry, Coco. White Bread is welcome. White Bread's sitting in this week. He's our fact checker. Jeremy Powell, you know how when you kind of good. Oh, hold on. Let's start over. This is like I tripped at the starting line. You know how when you're kind of good looking and you hang out with ugly people, it makes you more attractive. The same goes when you're funny and hang out with unfunny people. It makes you look hilarious. Somehow Nate assembled a crew that compliments him on both fronts. Oh, right into the mean comment.
Yeah.
You just agreed with Coco, and then
You picked the comments.
do you agree? You like that?
I mean, I think Jeremy gets it. I wouldn't have read it out loud, but I don't know. Jeremy's inside my brain somehow. I mean, me and Jeremy could have said that. We would sit there. He sounds like my agent that's telling me, and I'm like, yeah, man. He goes, you're doing something. I'm like, yeah. Later, tater, nader. Just love it how Blueberry Breakfast always says the county of where the town is in before he says the town's name. That's how older people talk. You say you're from this small town, and older people just hit you with the county name like it's a game show question. That is a very funny. I love like that. Wilson County. I went to Davidson County the other day. Dixon. I was in Dixon. Like Dixon's always been described as Dixon to me in Nashville. I don't think I've ever really known where it's at either. I kind of do.
What do you mean?
Where Dixon is in Nashville.
Dixon's a city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in.
But isn't it Dixon County too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't ever know where it's at. People always go, I went to Dixon today. And I'm like, all right. Like, I don't, I want to say it's west.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I could get there, but it's just, I never went to Dixon a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But Dixon's the most I get told someone's going to Dixon. And then I always just go, okay.
Almost any town in Tennessee, I could tell you what county it's in.
Memphis.
Shelby.
Knoxville.
Oh,
Knox.
Oh, that was good.
You like because of your local news?
Sure.
Bristol. What
Yeah.
about Bristol?
That's let's see. Johnson City is up in Washington County. Bristol, maybe Hamlin County.
Yeah.
We hit a new low on this podcast. Just hit it. I mean, yikes. Talking about jumping the shark. I mean, what? I mean, good night, folks.
That was a fun game.
I
Let's
mean,
keep going.
Nicholas Jones just fell back asleep. He goes, thanks, guys, for naming the counties of cities that I've never heard of. I appreciate that. We had about 8 old women that listen to this that perked up. Oh, all right. Finally getting some topical stuff going.
He knows where Dixon is now.
I mean, it's that was like I feel like in Kramer, the Merv Griffin set. He goes, what about a co-host? I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Candace Dot. Hello, folks. Just want to say I learned something new every time listening to you guys. For instance, this episode, Urban Legends. I learned that I shouldn't have listened to this when I was grocery shopping alone at night. I was so paranoid while walking to my car and putting my groceries away. And yes, I checked my van for serial killers and had Journey ready to play for my drive home. P.S. If Nate reads this, he is bound to say my last name incorrectly. It's pronounced Dote. Candace Dote. Really? Dote. I like to
Maybe she's wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
Candace, I'd look into that a little more. Candace Dote. I like how she put that at the end. See, that's what I'm talking about. These good comments. They're good. They do it, and then there's a little surprise at the end. Jason Gott, when Nate said he thought Mr. Rogers was too quiet for the military, it reminded me that Bob Ross actually was a drill instructor, and then he decided to be a painter. He also decided he would never scream and yell like that again and just became super mellow.
I like that. I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know if that's true.
Well,
I wonder if that's true.
I think it's true. I don't
Is
know.
it? Okay.
He was a drill instructor.
He was?
Mhm.
So it is true.
you can see a little bit of it when he washes off his paintbrush,
And just a little.
and he goes, "Just beat the devil out of it," and he smacks it really
Oh,
hard. You can
really?
see a little bit in his eyes, I think.
That's where he
Doesn't
gets it out. He
surprise me.
still wants it.
Yeah,
He still wants to do it.
Right.
What if his family at home was just horrified with him? I mean, we just only saw this. We were like, God, I bet super mellow. And then his wife and kids were like, I mean, it was every day was a war. Every day we woke up to war.
Yeah.
And he's just all day long. And then he's just calm. Dario Stolik, love the pod, love the whole crew, especially Bookshelf. I just wanted to give my
Thank you.
2 cents on Nate saying that no one ever sees a ghost in like full human shape and form. When I was young, 11 and 12 years old. I woke up early one Saturday morning, was making my way downstairs into the kitchen as usual to make myself breakfast. But to my surprise, there was a man in the kitchen wearing a full white suit, looking sharp, almost as if he was going to a wedding or something formal. I kind of just nodded and smiled at him because I was shy. I was the shy kid and went downstairs where I heard my mom cleaning and asked her who the man in the kitchen was. To say the least, she was very confused and in shock as she proceeded to tell me we were home alone and there was no way someone else was in the house. So in my case, I did in fact see someone just as clear as I see any real person, and it confirmed it to me. My mom looked around the house. Sure enough, no one was there. Wow.
Mm.
Dario Stolik. Dario. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good one, man.
Yeah.
That's one you're not going to convince that guy out of it.
No.
That he's like, I saw it.
He saw what he saw.
He saw what he saw. Man in a white suit.
I believe him.
His mom's still like, oh, his mom was like, and it's like someone else. It was her boyfriend.
I was gonna say her mom. Yeah, her
And
mom.
she goes, no, it was a ghost. And that's how dumb. This story shows you how dumb kids are. What if that's what it was? The mom's like, I can't believe I got away with that. I mean, I'm just so lucky. I go, what was that, man? What? That would be the way to play it with the kid.
Yeah.
No one's here. And then just that guy runs out. And then they still laugh at it to this day. Or it was a ghost. Holly Stone. It's a good name. Holly Stone. I like that name. Stone's strong. That's what I'm gonna name Holly. I'm gonna give Holly the dog. She's gonna be a stone now. To answer the question, does one feel or sense their own baby in the hospital? When my second child was born, we were sharing a room with someone and their new baby. I briefly grabbed that stranger's baby and did not know the difference for at least a minute, and only realized it due to the name tag. I still cringe about it from time to time. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you just can't know. But I would get the feeling of just, I would be like that. I would think about it all the time. It would never get out of my head. And just because you accidentally, but you got to just think of it as funny. I think
it was
that
an
helps
episode of
you
The Office that happened.
Where?
Pam and Jim.
She actually.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't she actually breastfeed?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's got to look at it. And I think the way to get out of it is like, you got to tell it as a funny story. And then that's what makes your brain go like, yeah, it was funny. Like, obviously, no one can tell. I mean, babies are babies. Brooke Hubs. I worked in a movie theater. The popcorn is popped with a small amount of dried butter combined with oil, which gives it the yellow color. And the option to add liquid butter is asked of the customer. Same for microwave popcorn. That's why you see the butter residue on the inside of the bag. If you get unflavored, unseasoned popcorn, then yeah, it's white. So that was you. You said popcorn was white, right?
Yeah, I said the yellowness was because of butter, and I got attacked for it.
We got so many comments about this.
Popcorn.
So many. And people kind of gave different explanations. I went with this one because it seemed kind of simple. And
this is the most logical.
We
talked to an expert. He worked at a movie theater. That's the type of.
A lot of people wrote in like, I have professional experience with popcorn. And I'll tell you why it's yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the consensus seems to be the oil adds a lot of it.
Yeah.
But a butter will make it more yellow.
Yeah. Chris, love the podcast, but you're wrong about gangbangers and flashing headlights being an urban legend. I grew up in the country in Washington State, and there were lots of drugs in my town growing up, and the gangs that came to town were doing the headlight drive-bys. I was once chased and shot at twice, and a buddy I went to school with took 3 shots, all because we flashed our headlights. Chris, I'd like to hear more to that story, to be honest, buddy. I want a little bit more. I'm sure something. He's like, well, we screamed at him. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Washington State, sneaky with the drug problem up there. Like, you don't think about it, but there's some real big problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Bigfoots are on drugs.
Yeah. That's where they're at. All right. That is crazy, though. I mean, if that's true, I mean, golly, you imagine that you truly, like, don't flash your headlights. Why would they move to Washington State to do drugs? You know? What's up there?
I think they're probably from there. I don't think they go, I want to get into drugs.
He said there were
Where
a lot
should I go?
Oh, a lot of drugs. Well, I think it's, you don't think people move for drugs? You don't think people move into town? I heard there's good drugs here.
I think small towns across America just have drugs.
Maybe
A
I'm
lot
wrong.
of counties.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Justin Barcelos. I'm pretty sure the swallowing spiders, bugs in your sleep is an urban legend. I always believed it myself, but Google says it's fake.
Ooh.
But
Aaron.
Yeah, whatever you have to tell yourself to sleep at night, dude.
Yeah, you never what? Never 5 feet from a spider?
I think every time I've said it, the number changed. But yeah,
Yeah.
3 feet, 6 feet. There's a spider on you right now.
Look behind you. Ryan Dance. I love how concerned Bathtub was about the cardio conditioning of the Jasons at the end of the haunted tours and making sure they got enough time to rest up in between scaring small children out of their tiny little baby minds. Truly a kind soul this world doesn't deserve. Love the podcast, guys. We talked about that haunted house tour too. We looked that up after we got done. The one in Nashville, that's the scariest one,
Mm-hmm.
and that guy's just crazy. So
yeah, it didn't look real
it's not,
fun at all.
we looked it up. After we said that, we're like, I was like, if anybody goes to it, let us know. But no one's ever made it through. But I don't think anybody can.
Yeah,
because he's giving $100,000 to make it through. He's not letting you go through. I mean, he's burying you alive. You would have to be willing to basically trust that this guy's going to not kill you. That's what you would have to be. He's going to push you enough, and you're going to have to go, well, he can't kill me, but you also have to be fine with him killing you and truthfully killing you. Like, not a joke, not fun. I mean, he's burying people and
kind of taking a weird pleasure out of it the whole time.
Yeah.
Really a real life villain.
I'm surprised he's not more level headed. It's not. All right, let's do some of these from the Bigfoot, then we'll get started. Dallas Gambriel, I like how other podcasts bring on experts. We're talking about space today, so our guest is a theoretical physicist.
Yep.
Yeah. Nateland says, we're talking Bigfoot, so our guest today is a guy who used to work with my sister. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That should be in the log line of the show.
I was gonna say, that sums up the philosophy of the show pretty
What are you guys
well.
doing? We're talking Bigfoot, so today our guest is a guy who used to work with my sister. That's who we want to talk to. Jeff Stapleton. Aaron took both Nate's place as the star of the show and Brigsley worry face. Especially on video, Aaron seems to consistently struggle to contain his reactions and comments to just about everything Kevin said. Watching him react was absolutely my favorite part of the episode. There was nothing better than when we finally see him break with Nate's civilian stations comment. People like the civilian stations,
That was
right?
a big hit.
That was a great moment, and every now and then I'll still think about it and I'll still laugh.
Yeah.
Well, really got me, man.
I did it on purpose as a comedy. That's what I'm going to stick to. Well, I did that on purpose because I'm a comedian, a professional comedian. And when Nate says civilian stations, I was in the carpool to pick my kids up from their new school. I was supposed to say their names so they could call them out. I could not speak and was ugly crying with no sound coming out. The carpool lady was not amused. They will be taking the bus starting Monday. Thanks, Nate. Totally worth it.
Great.
Got them out of picking up the kids.
That was Garrison Richard.
At this, Garrison Richard. Out of the civilian station, which is a school. Would be a school. Wouldn't you say?
A civilian station?
That's what a school is. Man. Jason Lowhorn. Sounds like a guy that goes looking for Bigfoot. If we said we're talking to Jason Lowhorn today, he's an expert on Bigfoot, you would be like, okay. You go, all right.
He's got some fossils.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd love to hear Jason. I think Bigfoot and aliens could be a demonic phenomenon. Right? Phenomenon. Oh, phenomenon. Demonic phenomenon. That word just kind of keeps on going, don't it? Like, I mean, it's like you kind of go phenom, and then the word goes a little bit more. No, almost there. Oh, phenomenon. And they go perfect. Where they do have the ability to cloak themselves or move in between dimensions and disappear. As a pastor, I believe this is spiritual activity that the enemy uses to deceive us, or it's used to attack the biblical account of creation. By the way, I do think people are seeing something for sure. Yeah, they're seeing something.
Wow.
Too many people see it.
I've heard that about aliens.
Yeah.
That they're demons.
Yeah. Just kind of briefly say that. I like that. There's just kind of, oh, yeah, aliens is probably demons too. Okay. Corey Impey. Just I like to just brush off. Literally just found out there's more than one Bigfoot. Oh, wow. Cora. Is what who y'all
A-
both believe that,
A
right?
lot of people said that.
Yeah.
You ridiculed us, but people backed us up.
I guess I just don't ever remember my first day of learning. Y'all remember your first day too. I feel like y'all go. I was 8 years old. It was a Sunday evening, and someone brought up Bigfoot to me. I just don't remember.
Well, Bigfoot is the foot is singular. If
Yeah.
it were big feet, then I know that were multiple people.
But you're talking about one of a group, you know.
What would tip that off, though?
I just don't know. I don't know how I learned about Bigfoot. I don't remember. So I just always they're all over the country. There's Bigfoot sightings all over the country. I don't think Bigfoot. I wouldn't believe in Bigfoot if there was one and all these sightings were all over. I wouldn't believe then because was he flying everywhere? No.
Well, I believed in one Santa, and there's a Santa in every mall in America.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be kids listening to this podcast too.
I still believe in him.
Oh man, we're gonna bleep that out. How does that feel to just ruin everything for everybody? You know, I mean, we're supposed to be a clean podcast, and then you come out here and just.
Now I feel real bad.
I don't think there's an 8-year-old. Hey, look, my daughter, her age ain't making it this far into the comments. She checked out a while ago, to be honest. Holly might be gone. David Campbell. I've enjoyed every podcast, but this one, I'm guessing Bobcat picked this topic. You'd be wrong, David. It's me. I love Bigfoot. I picked it. I think I said I picked
I
it.
feel like anyone listening should be able to tell that.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah. Well, I liked it. I thought it was kind of fun. Talked about a lot of different stuff. The point of it is I can't talk about the same thing every time. Yeah. I think we have a better chance of being funny when we talk about crazier stuff. We got civilian stations out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't getting that when you're talking about voting. Vote at your civilian station today. Is that where you would vote? Jay Durant, maybe Kevin Durant's brother, possible.
Maybe.
There is a rumor that this might be the best Nateland episode so far. Such a great episode, especially when Aaron lost it at the end. Fantastic show, gents. Much love from Austin.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a lot of comments. But again, we don't
2
have,
weeks worth.
We don't have 2 weeks worth of comments, and we don't have much. This topic might not be good this week.
That's correct.
Yeah. Since we are back at it, we got to get back in the groove of it. I think we will. I think this is about a fun one. This is another one that's not much. It's about it's another Bigfoot episode. I'm gonna
Part 2.
every 3 weeks we do a Bigfoot episode until we eventually get everybody out, and we're down to 80 people that love this podcast. I mean, like that. Just I thought I saw somewhere Reddit or maybe Redditors. They said that we talk about a Bigfoot but didn't have an expert.
Yeah.
But someone said they liked it. They were like, I think it's good because all Bigfoot people they listen to the same experts over and over.
Oh yeah.
So I think they just want to hear. It's like being a Vandy fan when ESPN talks about Vandy forever. I'm going to listen more than the average person.
Yeah.
So Bigfoot doesn't get. We're not saying we're ESPN, but you don't ever hear
Right.
just
I personally thought Kevin knew enough that I would consider him an expert. I think
Yeah.
he was just hesitant to use that description for himself.
Yeah, the dog man is what Kevin wants to know about. So he thinks if there's anybody that knows about this dog man, Kevin I think he is like, we're gonna get some dog man comments.
Yeah.
And he wants to go down that trail. Is that what you would say? That path. He wants to dive into trying to be more of a dog man guy. So if you got any dog man stuff, feel free to comment.
Mm-hmm.
You and Kevin were guys to connect you. My sister will connect you guys, and then you guys can.
And we'll do a Dogman episode.
We'll do a full Dogman episode if you guys find Dogman. All right, so this week we're going to talk about laws. I guess kind of is it election time, so we talk about the laws. How are laws made? I don't know. But they're just there. Yeah, that song, I'm a bill,
Mm-hmm.
and they get stuff up. I learn about the government every day. I learn something. I like when they explain. I do. I make fun of them telling people how to vote. I do like when it gets explained to me real dumb, though.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what is this guy? He thinks we're all idiots? And I record it, secretly record it, and watch it later alone. What is it? You think we're stupid? press record.
Hmm.
I'll record. I want to show people how dumb it is, and then I
Yeah.
just sit there and watch the cartoon. So one of the first laws we can talk about. I mean, we're not going to talk about the basic laws, but one that just to get us into it is the McDonald's the hot coffee lawsuit. That was the big law thing. They did a Seinfeld episode about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a great documentary about that where find out it's actually what they did was wrong. What McDonald's did was wrong. The coffee was too hot. It was an elderly lady, almost killed her because she just had the burns was so much. They got in trouble for making coffee too hot. Did you know all this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so everybody's watched this documentary?
I haven't seen
I
the
haven't seen the
documentary.
documentary.
No.
Oh, you knew that it was real though. Like
I remember we talked about it in a class one time. We pulled up pictures of what the burns
Yeah.
on this woman.
Mock
Yeah.
trial.
No, it wasn't in mock trial. This
Really?
was later. This
it was
is,
just a different class. Why didn't they talk about it in
I
mock
t-
trial?
I- we
Wouldn't that be
took-
the main place to talk about it?
I was a business school in college. It was like a business.
Wait, this was in college?
Yeah.
I just didn't have college. You know.
Business school.
I mean, dude, we talked about math. I did math problems, like regular math problems at Vol State Community College. I did speech.
Yeah.
Did you have speech
No, I
in
didn't-
college?
I didn't
No one
have-
took speech.
I didn't have speech, man.
No one. Did you take speech?
Yeah.
In college?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would do. I talked about Vanderbilt. I showed the highlight film of Vanderbilt's 95, 96 season, where we went 5-6, or 96, 97 season, I guess. And we went 5-6.
I think it was just the '96 season.
Yeah.
We didn't go to any bowls.
We lost to LSU.
Yeah.
It was the one where we lost. We barely lost to LSU. That started the down, and I got an A+ on it. That's the only A+ I got was in that speech class.
because they could sense your passion.
They could see that I loved it.
Yeah.
I remember not. I mean, I say this in my act. I don't remember school. I would not. So you learn stuff in school.
Well, I just remember that I had heard that McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit. I had heard that always used as an example of frivolous lawsuits.
Yeah.
Of like, can you believe how crazy these people are trying to get money
Yes.
from McDonald's?
Yeah.
And then it's crazy that if you actually look at what happened, this woman was wronged by them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They got in trouble for making that coffee too hot. They were doing it over and over again, and a lot of complaints about it, and they kept doing it. And then the top two, I mean, the Seinfeld episode is exactly it. It's not supposed to not that hot,
Yeah.
and the woman was very elderly, and it burned her and almost killed her.
Yeah.
It was that severe of burns. I always found that very interesting. That that's one of those cases that you end up going like, no. Yeah, because it is. It sounds like a crazy one.
Uh-huh.
And then you're like, no.
I remember
was
growing
legit.
up and you see the label on the coffee
Yeah.
cups and you're like, can you believe this is so crazy that we have to write this? And
Yeah,
it's like,
coffee's
well,
hot. Well,
I mean, that woman, her life changed.
her life changed. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think most people probably still think, if they know that story, they think, can you remember that ridiculous lawsuit where someone sued over hot coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how many people, if you're listening and you can leave, just how many people still don't know that it was very serious and that it was actually the woman was wrong. It'd be like that Duke lacrosse. Like that's always brought up is the Duke lacrosse case is always something that's you always think, oh, that was the Duke kids that did all this stuff and they were wrong, and then it turns out they weren't.
People don't remember the ending of the story.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
the follow up.
yeah, and they don't remember that lady. Yeah.
So this
Still
was a
drink-
79-year-old
So
woman.
this is why iced coffee got made because of this lawsuit. Do you know that?
Is that true?
No.
Okay, you can't look. I know Nick is gone.
know.
You can't
I
start
thought-
doing it to me. Man.
I thought I was like, I wish Nick was here because
Mm.
that's actually kind of probably timing wise works out to be like,
yeah,
and that's why they started making iced coffee. That's how
that made enough sense for me.
I bet if he watches, he'll still fall for it.
the coffee. He's not watching, dude. The idea that you think he's watching, I promise you, he's not watching. But the idea that it would work out that's how the coffee people respond to it. They go, yeah. Well, do you want it cold then? Because that's what we're doing. And then they just send them cold coffee.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It makes sense.
Mhm.
Could be the reason. Yeah. Maybe right. What's speed limit laws?
Well, I just want to talk about I was thinking, what laws have I broken in my
Yeah.
life? And besides a few traffic laws like speeding, That's it.
Yeah, I don't know if have you ever stole something?
No.
Have you? You feel like
When I was
you
a
could've.
kid, I remember this is one of my first memories.
Yeah,
Went to the store with my mom and I stole a Bubblicious
yeah.
and I just put it in my pocket. I remember I brought it home and I wrote my name on it with a Sharpie. It just said Aaron, and I was carrying it around in my pocket. I didn't even want to. It was just the thrill of taking it. It was
Yeah.
I didn't even want to chew it. I just kept
Yeah.
it in my pocket, and then it fell out of my pocket. And my mom was like, "Who got you that?" And I was like, "Oh, my uncle bought it for me." I was like, lying.
Now you're
Yeah.
doubling down.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I lied. So she's like, "Let's call him up." So she called my uncle. He's like, "I haven't seen him in years."
Yeah.
It's just
Wow.
like the story doesn't even check out. So my dad was like, I remember my dad took me back to the store, and I had to return it to the cashier.
Yeah.
And it's probably a cute moment as an
Yeah.
adult for a little kid to come back and
Yeah.
How old were you? 16?
No, I was 4 or
Well-
5, maybe 4, 5, or 6.
Why did your uncle say I haven't seen him in years?
I was just joking.
Oh,
Yeah, he was like, "No,
oh,
I haven't been
oh.
around. We haven't been hanging out."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, I would hope that that's what your uncle's response would be. Yeah. Hey, did Aaron do this? He's 6 years old. I haven't seen him in years.
I was thinking, why would your mom have to call him if
Yeah.
that's the case?
Did your mom not know that you could have been with your uncle at some point?
I just remember saying that somebody got it for me who it didn't make sense at all
Yeah.
that this person would have given me.
Yeah. Yeah. The thrill of I feel like you would be the one that steals something out of this podcast.
I don't steal anything else. That was just that. I got it out early, I stole a 59-cent Bubblicious pack.
And you saw how quickly your life spiraled.
I said, I don't want to become this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to become.
Do you speak
a
now
thief.
to groups?
I would love to go around and share my story.
Yeah.
Your testimony?
Let them know. Don't let this
I
happen
haven't
to you.
seen him. I haven't seen him in years.
I looked the devil in the eyes, dude,
Yeah.
after that, and I said, not today.
Not today. I don't think I've stolen anything either. I've driven back. Like if I ever took something that I paid for that I didn't pay for, just how some reason it got in your bag and maybe it wasn't swiped or something. And I've driven all the way back and I go back in and I'll pay for it. I'll say, I didn't pay for this.
Wow.
That's how much I didn't want to steal. And that's almost, they look at you going, just take it home, man.
Mhm.
This is more of a nightmare. You're more of a problem. That I'm waiting in line going, I forgot I didn't pay for this. So I'd like to pay. And they're like, you were home?
Yeah.
I mean, this is Kroger. It's a full gross, like just,
Dude,
if you're doing this, I'd imagine you're never stealing. So one just happened to, life worked out and you got through. I turned in, when I worked at Opryland theme park, I found $20 on the ground and turned it into Lost and Found.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one I always think about. I should have kept that $20 because it turns out no one could really identify
Yeah.
that. Hey, but I in my head, I think someone's going to show up and go, "I lost $20," and then they're going to go, "Well, we have $20." But I bet that was the same park where people told me their name was John and Jane Doe. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff going on. There's no way. I mean,
Whoever you turned it into kept that.
I mean, I would love to talk to that guy. Because that guy would be like, no, I'm a good person. That guy's probably a good person. And he's like, but you're stupid. And you handed me $20 thinking I'm going to make
Just
an
a
announcement.
loose $20 bill.
Yeah, like I'm going to make an announcement over the park. Hey, everybody. Did anybody lose a $20 bill? Untraceable, no way to identify it. Who lost a $20? And I think everybody's going, well, I didn't, so I'm not going to. Like there wouldn't be just a rush.
Right.
I know it's only $20, but I think there'd be a rush.
If you saw one now, would you just
I
leave
would
it?
keep it. Maybe I would leave it.
Oh, no,
just
you
'cause
just said you'd keep it.
I'm saying I would keep it, but I would probably, if I've seen money on the ground. I mean, if there's no one around, you're going to grab it. And then, but I would you maybe leave it on the ground. I always just think you hope someone else finds it that needs it. And then, that's all I hope. So I walk around and go, do you need $20? Hi, I'm comedian Nate Bargatze, and you look poor and stupid. I found this money that you use to buy food for your tummy.
Mhm.
Do you need it? That's what I go do. People find it insulting.
You tell them to vote after that.
I tell them, I go, hi, I'm comedian Nate Bargatze.
But have you broke any traffic laws?
Yeah. I've done speeding. I got caught near my house. They sit. It's a perfect. Is Holly under me? No, is she in the room?
No, it's not me either.
That's Aaron's foot.
It's truly not me.
Sorry. Holly just sits behind you sometimes, and we got these. I've rolled back on her.
Yeah.
And I killed a dog once, actually. But I don't think that's against the law. There's a hill down here. You come down it, and there's. I think the cop could sit there and get everybody because it's almost. I look at it every time now. He pulled me over, and I got a ticket, and I look at it every time. I wish they would. If you get a speeding ticket, you should be able to pay it right there. Wouldn't that help? Just to go, it's $100, and you're like, okay.
They had like a card swiper just
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, let me just boom.
Yeah. Why not just go? How's there not more?
Or an app.
Yeah, just to go like, let me just pay it real fast. It's like almost like that's what you're. It's almost like if you get caught, you're not as mad.
Right.
If you go, if I can just get this over with.
If I can
dude.
just Venmo the city
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah,
That'd
yeah,
be amazing.
Venmo this 100. You know how much money they would get?
Yeah.
They should do that. It's probably bad though.
Yeah.
People would probably be against that.
Yeah.
Why?
Because then they would take advantage of it. Because they're going to show you
People
cash.
would speed
What if a cop?
a lot more.
I wonder, has there ever been cops caught where you just go, just give me $100? Like I was like, if you said, here's $100, the cop.
I'm sure that goes.
Oh,
down.
Cop could. I mean, dude, he could make $500 a day.
I think a lot of people want to go to traffic court to keep it off the record.
I've been to traffic court. I remember going when I was like 17 or something like that. We used to have where a house that we lived in, a cop would sit at this top of this 4-way stop, and he'd be all the way up the hill in our neighborhood. So I grew up in Old Hickory, which is Lakewood, and they had their own
Davidson
police
County.
department. It was Davidson County, but we had our own police department outside of Davidson County. So Lakewood was just a tiny area, and with their own police department, and it was Ticket City. Everybody knew right when you on Old Hickory Boulevard, right when you passed, there's a golf course, Hermitage Golf Course. Right when you hit that Hermitage Golf Course until you got to Madison or the bridge, it was like just obey the laws because it was only police.
Talking about that stretch right when you cross the main bridge in
Yeah.
Old Hickory.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, it's still known as that.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, I think now it's just
trap.
Davidson County.
Yeah.
So now they stopped it, but it was such a small area that had all these cops that had their own police department, and so they were just on it. I mean, so you couldn't speed because they're not covering a whole city; they're covering just this tiny part, and they would always get tickets. I remember my brother got a ticket one time, and I pulled up to make sure because he was just 16 or 17, and so I'd have been like 19. And I pulled up the cop, and I remember the cop was like yelled at me. I had to go on because you can't just pull up on a cop and then be like, "That's my brother." He's just probably nervous about it. And the cop's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty nervous too about what's going on." And you're like, "That makes sense." And I drove off, and he got a ticket. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, I've broken those kind of laws. Like I'm trying. I don't.
What's the fastest you ever remember going?
I remember I've driven over 100.
I hit 100 once too.
I had my
Just to do
300
it.
ZX just to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I did it on 24.
It feels good, man.
You can get there quicker than you think.
Right.
I mean, it's not like this. You jerk back and I've definitely been driving and you're like, I'm going 90.
Yeah, you just look down.
Just
You're
look
like,
down.
Whoa.
Sometimes you see the whole, my wife would be like, slow down. I'm like, everybody's going, I'm going to have to pull over. The left lane that's something I heard people talk about. The left lane is straight up just for passing.
A lot of
You're
people don't understand the
Yeah.
relationship between the left and the right lane. I've realized that.
Every other lane you can be in. Left lane should always be empty. It's just there to pass, then you get back over.
And never pass on the right.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how
a big
wrecks
one.
happen.
Yeah.
Although
they
a lot of
pass
people
them.
do if the slow person's in the left lane.
I mean, I guess you have to at some point.
It's a free
but
for all.
So, in 1901, Connecticut was the first state in the United States to impose a numerical speed limit for motor vehicles, setting the maximum legal speed at 12 miles per hour in cities and 15 on rural roads. Speed limits then started propagating across the United States, and by 1930, all but 12 states had speed limits.
So some didn't even have any. But how fast could a car go back
I was
then?
going to say, in 1901, what were those cars?
20?
Those Model
Not very
Ts?
fast, but they got fast pretty quickly. By 1930, they could go pretty fast.
Yeah, that's when they started racing, moonshining,
Yeah.
like NASCAR.
Nevada and Montana had no speed limit until Congress clamped down with a national speed limit in 1974 of 55 miles per hour because of the gasoline shortage.
Wow, so in 1973, you could go Montana and it was do whatever you want.
Even better, they found a way around it. So they just said they made the penalty $5. Some drivers just kept a wad of $5 bills in their glove compartment. So if they were pulled over, they would be ready to pay the fine on the spot. In Nevada, that was in Montana. In Nevada, the penalty was $15.
So you could pay the cop then.
Yeah, apparently.
You could just give him $5.
I like that system.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way they're turning that in. I mean, let's eat some lunch, and then you
Right.
go get
And
3
they've earned
guys.
it. They've earned
Yeah.
it, you know? Let 'em
I
have
pull
it.
over 3 guys and they go, "What do you want to do here?" And he goes, "Here's $5," and you go about your day.
Yeah.
And
How
then you
fast
go-
do you think you would drive if there were no speed limit? I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know if I want to go around at 100 miles an hour all day.
I wouldn't want to go around at 100. I would definitely go faster than I'd probably at least be in between 80 and 90 on the interstate.
Yeah.
And all that stuff changes. The older you get, the slower you kind of go. You just end up going. Some of it could be just a straight up. I don't feel like turning like all these curves and
Yeah.
it's just not fun. We just rented a car in LA that when you turn, I got to drive a Mercedes there, and so when you turn the wheel, the seat holds your body. So wherever you would be turning, so if you turn right or you turn left, and you would have to bend that way or kind of pushes your body that way. In LA, there's a lot of curvy streets, and you would do it, and it just holds you,
Wow.
so you never move,
That's pretty cool.
and it made it easier. It's something that you don't really think, but you ever sometimes you can when you drive you feel like tired. You're like, I don't feel like going down this curvy road. It's just like you feel like it's like, I don't know if your brain's tired, you're tired, and you don't want to turn the wheel of your car. It seems real lazy, but I think everybody feels that.
If you got other people in your car too, then you got to worry about their comfort, and then you got to be. If it's just me, I don't mind.
You don't ever
rocking
feel
all over.
tired. You don't ever get
I mean, I drove 6 hours today.
really
I can, yeah.
from where?
Ohio, Columbus.
Oh, so you
From
just
this morning.
woke up and
I got pretty tired. Some
Yeah.
stretches on that drive. I got.
so
pretty
what time
tired.
did you leave?
It's 5:30 or 6.
Oh,
So you watched 6 episodes of The West Wing?
yeah. Did you watch wrestling?
No,
You
I
did, didn't you?
No, I did not today.
What'd you do? Listen to
Some podcasts,
yeah.
some songs,
Uh,
called some people.
yeah. You don't ever feel tired. Like I feel tired from driving. Sometimes you just it seems like a lot. Like you could go out of my house to go to if I want to go to the golf course. There's 2 ways. I can go one way that's more traffic, but just kind of straight, and the other way is a little curvy. And sometimes I'm like, I just don't. Seems like it's just a lot to go. The curviness.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only one. You know.
No, I get it.
No, I get it. You break the law every time you.
Did you say you get it
Yeah.
to your own statement? I get it, Nate.
When you watch shows,
I don't think what I'm doing
hours
is
long.
against the law.
I'm positive it is.
What law would it be?
You can't look at your phone when you drive.
I'm not looking at my phone. I'll peek at it every now and then when I got.
Well, there you go. There you go.
You're listening. So you think it's like
I
a
don't
radio?
have my phone on the steering wheel, and I'm like looking at it.
It'd be better if you did. At least you'd be looking in the same direction that you're driving. You're like, I do the right thing. I put it on the floorboard.
You know, the
So
new
I can really
iOS
look down.
has picture-in-picture now with a lot of apps. So if I'm on Netflix and then I exit out of it and go to Maps,
Yeah.
the video will pop up. You can just put it right there over the maps, and then you just mount.
That's breaking the law every time, though.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. I mean, so you break it
That's
for
Apple.
hours.
That's Apple's
hours.
breaking the law.
Yeah. Hours and hours and hours. That's how, I mean, just the amount of time. It's not once, it's 6, 7 hours. I mean, how many hours do you think you've broken the law? If that's against the law,
If
Hundreds?
that's against the law, we're talking a lot of hours.
I mean, a ton of hours.
you
Dude.
know,
Wow.
Yeah, just 20 hours straight
I don't think I'm being dangerous at all
driving and watching.
because
the
I just
phone.
want I'm just listening to it.
Yeah,
But every now and then you want to just look at it.
yeah.
You know,
And then you look a little longer than you expected.
then you look up and you drifted over and
Yeah,
go.
you're like, hey,
That doesn't happen. Dude.
sorry, I'm watching.
I'm good
my
at it.
swing.
I'm good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
The highest posted speed limit in the country is 85 miles per hour.
Where's that?
It is in State Highway 130 in Texas.
Ooh, keep going on there. I would never understand when they're real quick. Some of them go. You ever see some speed limits and it'll be like 30, now 45, but back to 30, and you could never even get up to.
Those are speed traps, right?
Yeah.
And
Is that what they are?
I feel like that's what they're for.
Yeah, yeah.
I just feel like some areas are more curvy or more populated, so they have to lower.
But why would you not? But some of it is not. You can see the signs. It's it's 30 and 45, and it's back to 30, and you can almost see all three. Like it's just. Why would you ever even put the 45 in the middle?
I don't know.
Yeah. What's the system? What's the fastest? Oh, what's the one the place where there's no speed limit and where's
the Autobahn
Yeah,
in Germany?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was reading where you get in some serious trouble there if you run out of gas. Like Aaron's got a joke about that, but like here you call AAA or whatever. There
Mhm.
you get like heavy fined.
Because you'll disrupt all the traffic. on it?
Yeah, and they just think it's ridiculous, so they're not as nice about it.
Like
So,
it's crazy. You're stupid.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you are stupid when you run out of gas.
Yeah.
I think so. I get it.
yeah.
Are there a lot of wrecks on the Autobahn?
I don't think so.
That's interesting.
Everybody's moving. I mean, I guess if you don't want to go fast, you can go in the far lane, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are lanes on it though.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I just assume.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing every time you see like an intersection in another country, it just looks like chaos. Dude.
I
Yeah,
think
but
of it as
that's-
just like a long stretch of highway.
Yeah, I feel like that's the India or something like that, where it's just that circle and it's just people.
That is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of India. It looks like
Yeah,
a million cars going through a market.
yeah. Just
You know?
man, it's a roundabout. That's just. I mean,
How does
how do not everybody dead?
Yeah.
And then people just sit and they're like, now. Like, I mean, that's where people should learn how to drive though, because that's how where you go. I mean, people go. You got to go. It's almost like you see NASCAR. They drive up on their bumpers because they know the guy's not going to stop to let a dove fly by. That's what would fly by. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything, so I went with that.
But it seemed like the speed limit laws kind of went into effect because of fuel shortage more than even danger, like to conserve energy. I guess there's a certain speed you get, and it's burning too much oil, too much fuel.
Oh, so that's why they even had
Oh.
them.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
And probably the accelerating and all the accelerating burns gas too, right?
yeah. The first national speed limit was 55 miles an hour, and that was because of the gasoline shortage.
Hmm.
So,
That's how they control you.
Why was there a shortage? How does that work?
well, that's
I
a
don't
whole
know,
other
man.
show.
It's a whole nother.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes. It's because no one voted.
Yeah.
What's seatbelt laws? I never understand that. Like, if you don't want to wear your seatbelt, I think you should. Then don't wear it. You know, I don't. What's the logic behind making people wear a seatbelt?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know this, but I think it's just you feel the same way with like helmets and stuff on
Yeah.
motorcycles and things
Yeah.
like that. And I think it's just because taxpayers have to pay if this person gets injured or hurt, we have to pay for medical bills or
Yeah, but if they don't wear a seatbelt and get hurt, you're still paying for their medical bills, right? It's not like it's being like, well, we put a law and they didn't follow the law, so we don't have to pay for that guy's bills.
so you feel the same way about speed limit? Shouldn't be a speed limit?
I could see a speed limit. That's just too much inconsistency because there's too many cars going
Yeah.
in and out. So you can't be like some guy wants to go 150 and then an old lady wants to go 20. Well, that can't be together on the same road.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem. So you got to at least have somewhere to meet in the middle. But like making you wear your seatbelt is, I don't know how that's. If I don't want to wear it, then
That's
I
the-
wear a seatbelt. I
Yeah.
like a seatbelt. I've always been a seatbelt person. I think most people are. But if some guy's like, I don't want to,
Mhm.
then don't wear a seatbelt.
I grew up. I mean, I can remember when seatbelt law came into effect.
I mean, it's like,
I mean, it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
yeah,
You should be able to remember
And
it.
did people?
People did not like it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And there was always stories about like, well, I knew a guy who was killed in a wreck because he was wearing a seatbelt
Yeah.
and couldn't get out.
yeah. I've heard that. There's gonna be stories both ways,
Right.
And I always think, I know I remember. I don't know if we ever talked about this. I do remember a time where if you put your seatbelt on and your friend was driving, it was offensive to
Yeah.
him. So I mean, I remember you got in my buddy's car and if you put your seatbelt on, he'd be like, "Come on, dude! Like, are you being serious right now? You think I'm that bad of a driver?" And I mean, you would go, "I'm all right, I'm sorry," and you would undo it
That's
because you
so
were
funny.
embarrassed. You were embarrassed to have it on because it was insulting to him that you would put a seatbelt on. And I would never, if I got in a, I don't remember getting in cabs. I mean, New York, you don't. I mean, now you can. You put a seatbelt on, but I mean, I remember really that's my first. I don't remember necessarily the seatbelt law, I guess, but I just remember getting into people's cars and they would be. I mean, if you said I'm gonna put my seatbelt on, and I used to think, what can I say to get a seatbelt on without the person getting upset about it? And I would try to think of ways that I could say, well, let me just put it on. I was just trying to find a way so the guy doesn't make fun of me. He's like, oh, all right, that makes sense. You know, if you're like, why not?
I just want to see how this one works.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Like,
is-
oh, dude,
yours really comfortable.
I
man.
love seatbelts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seatbelts are fun. You looks comfortable. Or I would try to make it click where he couldn't hear it
Yeah.
because I didn't want them, especially if you were in the back, I could just put it on and like, how can I do it? Like, can I hold the button down and put it in, then slowly let it up, and then he doesn't hear it, so the guy doesn't get mad. I mean, they used to get mad. You remember them getting mad? People would get mad.
Yeah. It wasn't a cool
It was
thing.
a direct reaction to their driving skills.
Yeah.
Was by going, I'm gonna put my seatbelt on. Wasn't just the
Nah.
chaos. That was the way that you would do it. You'd say, what's the other people I'm worried about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
That's
a
a
great
good one.
driver. That was a good one that you could
Yeah.
do. And he goes, but I can avoid it.
That's
go,
like what
"That's
my
true."
parents
Right.
used to say to me when they wouldn't let me do stuff. They go, "Look, we trust you.
Yeah.
We don't trust these other people out here."
Being out past midnight. My parents used to say that.
Uh-huh.
Nothing good happens at midnight. And when you get older, you realize nothing good happens past
Mhm.
midnight. It truly doesn't. Nothing, it's all trouble.
I say 3 a.m. That's my cutoff.
Well, I guess 3 a.m. would be, midnight is not. That's true. A lot of stuff happens at midnight. Never mind.
Y'all just skipped ahead 3 hours.
Yeah.
Do you find it weird that school buses don't have seatbelts?
Maybe. I don't know. Do you know about it?
Well, I mean, I've always thought it was
my-
kind
Like
of.
you
My
try to
thinking is the
goat
bus
you
is
into
so
an answer.
big.
That's
The
what you're
bus-
trying to trick. Do you feel?
Well, he
I
said
think it's
that.
real weird. Yeah, because you're stupid,
That's what
Aaron.
I'm saying. It sounded like he was trying to trap me.
Because
into
I looked
saying-
at you when I asked the question.
You're
maybe?
like, yeah. What do you think about it? I think the bus is so big that they probably crunched the numbers
Yeah.
and it said that there's not really a big risk of kids dying in a bus.
I think they're having some with buses. We talked about the tour bus. We're trying to get a newer tour bus, and if we get a newer the bus, they're going to have seatbelts. So the new tour buses are going to have seat. They have beds in them.
You have
But
to
you-
buckle up in the bed.
Not buckle them in the bed, but in the chairs,
Oh,
the
yeah.
couch, and the stuff that they're going to have.
The driver
the-
buckle up too.
Yeah, like everybody. I mean,
Wow.
it's going to be just a
I
straight
assume he
up.
already buckles. Does he not buckle?
He probably
don't know.
does, but I would bet that they're gonna have to figure a way. No one's gonna do that.
Mhm.
I've always thought it was weird that school buses didn't have seatbelts. I looked it up. 8 states do require it, but the reason partially is what you said. They feel like the buses are so safe. Usually, when you hear about a school bus wreck, it's the other car that's getting the
Yeah.
brunt of it. Some people say, or some argument was the kids would use the seatbelts as weapons on each other.
Oh wow.
Some said if one's wearing one and another is not, and there's a wreck, it'll injure
Them differently.
differently. Yeah,
One kid goes flying, one's safe. Let them all fly.
yeah.
It
That's what I
probably
felt.
gives the bus a capacity too.
Yeah.
You know, now they can just cram as many kids as they want on there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a legal limit, but
So
know.
so the seatbelts, they'd be like, we can't get as many.
yeah, we only
kids.
have a certain number of seatbelts on
Yeah.
there. But if there's no seatbelts, it's like, dude, put
But I think
3 in
there's
a
only
row,
2
4 across, dude. Put 'em
Yeah, I
on
don't
there.
know if they're doing that.
Well, not with COVID, but
Yeah, I think even before COVID, I
don't
don't think they're just
I don't know.
jamming.
yeah,
It's like, again, you're thinking about the subway in Japan. You saw that video and you think that's how we take kids to schools, but they're just pushing the back into people. That's what you think kids are.
I don't know
You
what's
know?
going on, man.
Over in Shelby County, we got a bus problem. Not too
Yeah.
many buses and too many kids.
Memphis.
He knows the counties, man.
Daylight savings was just happened.
Yeah, so I found that interesting. Do you guys know the history of daylight savings?
No.
I don't know
bet
how much
Aaron
I
does.
care either. But
All
go
right,
ahead.
you want to move on?
Possibly. I'll let you know. Start it, and
All
I'll
right.
let you know.
During World War One, in an effort to conserve fuel, Germany began observing daylight savings, and then the rest of Europe soon followed. The plan was,
I mean,
let me stop.
I don't know.
Tried it in the U.S.
What's like the quickest way?
The idea was unpopular, especially with farmers.
So the farmers didn't like it.
Correct.
We always think it's for farmers.
Yeah. It meant they had less time in the morning to get their milk and harvesting crops to the market.
Yeah.
Could this go either way? Is that good?
That's enough. I mean, is there something else that's crazy?
Well, that
No.
some states don't observe it. I mean, you're the one that brought it up.
I know, but I don't know if I cared. So Germany started it.
Some states still don't
I'd
observe
rather
it.
just talk about it like that. You know, like, so Germany started it. Wish I could get this hour back, to be honest. So it's not for farmers. I know Indianapolis does, or I don't know if Indiana, the whole state does it, or Indianapolis doesn't.
Indiana, from 1970 until 2006, most of Indiana was in the Eastern time zone and did not observe daylight savings time, but the entire state started to do so in April 2006 after 8 counties in Western Indiana were shifted from the Central time zone to the Eastern time zone.
I think it's ridiculous that we do it.
Do you know what daylight savings time is?
It's just the hour going forward. I thought it was for farmers or something. So I thought they was for farmers.
You don't like daylight savings?
I don't. I mean, it's getting dark at 4:50.
See, that's not daylight savings.
That's not?
No.
What is that?
That's standard time. Daylight savings is when you get darker later in the evening.
Yeah, so shouldn't we just stay on Eastern time, kind of, where we would kind of be? We lose an hour. We should always just stay spring forward.
Yeah,
and stay there.
That's your Some people think that.
Yes. So that's not daylight savings times. So this one.
We just left daylight savings.
Yes, we just left daylight savings because we were saving the daylight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so now we're not saving daylight, and and I still don't know why. I know you explained it, but you lost me when the World War I in Germany.
Yeah,
I kind of belled.
I mean, you didn't give him much of a chance. He got about 2 sentences.
It seemed like a long way
You're
to
like,
go.
"Ah."
What would be your quickest way to say why we have it?
Because somebody did it and we just started doing it.
Yeah. See, so there's no reason. That's the why.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah,
that's why,
a pretty
right?
good
That's
summary,
essentially
I
why.
think.
Yeah, it was to conserve fuel.
Like the speed limits.
I didn't make it.
We do the same thing with
They
the
came
speed
around
limits.
at the same time.
During World War I, in an effort to conserve fuel, Germany began observing daylight savings time.
That doesn't even make sense. Why? What is the? Why does the fuel?
They had different fuel things back then, so they had to.
Why didn't they do the speed limit at the Autobahn then? Right? Is it Autobahn?
The Autobahn, yeah.
Sounds like a transformer. But it's why didn't they do the speed limit? They go, no, we're not doing speed limit. Just make an hour, lose an hour or whatever. And then they go, that doesn't make sense.
It seems way more complicated than just add a speed limit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The little scientist got a little too britches for his Brian.
You know who I don't feel? I feel sorry for are people that live right on the edge of a time zone. I always think about this. That just every day you have to think about which time zone you're in.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to work, you're in this time zone.
Knoxville's like that. There's probably a county he knows about.
That is.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Rome County.
Rome County?
Yeah.
They live right on in between both. And so then, what do they do?
A nightmare.
What do those
planning
people
stuff.
do? Yeah. 9:00. Pacific. You just always give. I would be the guy that always gives Pacific time just to throw everybody off. You know, you would probably just say 9 Eastern. You just have to always say Eastern.
You always have to specify.
If you're someone that's kind of going back and forth,
right?
Everything's Eastern. You just got to pick. We're doing Eastern. That's what we're doing. When you talk to me, we do.
I feel like
I get it with when I have to plan stuff because I have to plan New York and LA stuff, and so I have to mainly all LA stuff. And so I usually get their times. So they're say on my watch I have LA time, just so I can always kind of quickly look at it. So when my managers and they're like, we got a meeting or you got this at 2 p.m. Pacific, I try to just kind of keep it Pacific. Just it's easier. They understand it, and then it's like. Pacific. Let's do Pacific time. You got to just pick a time.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Wow.
So why do they do daylight savings time? I still don't know. All right. Does the driver license requirement, is that just as boring?
Maybe. Let me pull that up.
Yeah. Let's see
I
what.
mean, it ended up being more interesting than we gave it credit for.
I mean, it's the. I like the idea of getting to see if it's going to be fun or not.
Do you think 16 is too young to get a driver's license?
Probably now.
That's been a lot. I mean, I have a joke about that. It made sense 100 years ago because 16, you were adult.
Yeah, you're middle aged.
Yeah. Back then you were going to war. But now it's crazy to me that 16.
Everything should probably just be 18, right?
At the earliest,
make everything 18.
What, tobacco, alcohol, everything's just 18.
Everything's 18.
I mean, that makes sense. Military.
Does it?
Military.
I think it makes sense for it all to be consistent.
Why does it not?
Well, I don't. I mean, I think some things are different. I mean,
so what do you want it to be
for a driver's license?
Yeah,
I would say at least 18. I feel like you should at least be an adult before you can drive a moving giant.
Everything
car.
should be 18.
But no, alcohol. I don't think that.
What should alcohol be?
21.
Yeah, you like it at 21?
Yeah. I just feel like you're like, yeah, just make everything 18.
I think make everything. If you can go fight, I always like that. If you can go fight for your country and die in a war, why can't you have a beer at 18? I mean, maybe you say only military people can drink at 18. Maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Drive up some people joining the army.
Those numbers will go up.
Those numbers go up real quick.
In 1903, Massachusetts and Missouri became the first states to require a driver's license, although it wasn't necessary to pass a test to obtain one.
You just went in and got one.
Yeah.
Like a library card.
You just said, hey, can I get a driver's license? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I can't find it right now, but it basically said that in the past, to learn to drive a car, you just learn from the salesperson. Like you'd go in, buy it, and then they'd show you how to drive it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's fun. I bet they just go, you get it, right? The guy wants to sell a car.
When they were first introducing cars to people, people used to say, instead of the braking, when they were going too fast, they'd say, whoa, because they were used to riding on a horse.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a brand new thing.
Sound like my grandfather telling me some dumb. We're like, all right, man. That's honestly, this is a story that just felt like, you're just like, oh God, how long do we got to? You're just waiting for your parents to go. All right, let's go. And you're like, thank God this old man keeps.
Dude?
Huh?
You don't think that's interesting?
It just felt like that story. I'm not saying it's not interesting. It just felt like a story that.
It didn't feel good coming out.
I
get it. What's that?
I think that's interesting.
Ah, appreciate it, man.
Wow, see the 100-year-old man in the room likes it. Yeah,
people were saying, "Whoa!"
Because they're so used to riding horses. So
let's dive into it more. Keep going into it. Yeah, let's break it down more. You didn't get it by the example that he gave.
Well, I wasn't listening.
That was one sentence that you go, yeah, I got it.
That's a pretty cool fact.
That is a cool fact, man. Whoa. Everybody do that when they break now. Whoa.
They would try to buck it like yeah, okay.
No, I do think it's a cool. I'm just saying the way it was said, the timing of when it was said, it felt
that's true.
Very much like your grandfather,
right.
And you go, yeah, that's crazy, and we got to just keep going along. And we go, we've heard this multiple times. I'm not saying I've even heard that.
Okay,
but the way it was delivered,
I get it.
It's I mean, this is an episode of boring, so I'm trying to liven it up. Let's go to. Whatever, daylight savings. Let's do daylight savings one more time. See how that would make that fun. There goes.
Let's see which one.
Let's do Japan's.
All right. In January 2008, Japan passed the Metabo Law, named after the metabolic syndrome, to reach its goals of shrinking the overweight population. The government imposed financial penalties on companies and local governments that fail to meet specific targets. With the new law, for example, a company that makes a product had to measure.
I'm zoned out. So I don't,
Okay.
it's the overweight law.
Yeah.
So they're saying if you're fat, it's against the law. Is that it?
Yeah, pay a fine or taxes or.
Yeah.
Well, can I keep going?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Is
right.
it what
Yeah.
would just describe it? I think just describe it real quick.
That
Like your fact, you just did. What one did you just do? The sales driving one was very fun.
yeah.
And then Aaron brought it down with his woe story. So like, let's do it that same way again.
Companies could incur penalties.
Aaron, how much would Aaron have to pay to live in Japan?
That's what we really.
That's what we
wanna
That's
wanna
what we're
know.
getting at.
Can he even visit Japan, or does he have to? Is it cost a little more?
He would have
goes,
to
I
qualify.
can't afford it, and I'm like, well, it's not that much. You go, well, it's a little more.
Some surcharge.
Sumo wrestler.
Whoa.
Do they have to pay
Sumo wrestler?
extra? So it's overweight. What is it? So they're overweight if they're against the law.
Companies could have some penalties to pay, yes, if their people did not.
If your staff,
Wow.
the
Yeah.
company has to pay it. So
Wow.
they're trying to tell them. That's why they do those workout videos, and that's also why they jump out of buildings. It's a mix of both. There's
the good and the bad with it.
that
yeah.
is that they do that, and this is part of why
Man.
you can't. Some guy that can't lose weight, and so eventually he just goes, "Well, I'm out." Then this is crazy.
What, he just quit his job?
No, what's he gonna go to another job that goes? Well, we do need to talk about your weight as he sits in. Here's my resume. I'm the smartest person ever. This is all good and great, but you're a bit you know what I mean? Little too, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to
just
he's
jump
like,
out a window.
I don't know how to say it, but you're
Companies measure waistlines of all of its employees and start
who's
education
not jumping out
programs.
of a window? I mean, like you know.
Sounds like I'm about to jump out a window. Yeah, that sounds horrific.
But it was COVID, and it goes, well, not everybody, you know. They're the biggest mammal in the sea, but as George says, they don't have to be. What's that? That's how. I mean, can you imagine? Just
Oof.
them, they're weighing you.
Yeah.
Well, you could argue the same reason that.
Or they're measuring your waist.
How many people would walk in behind you? Like if you would just find your biggest guy and go, like for me, I'm not saying I'm skinny, but I would go behind the biggest guy just so when I go through, they're like, they always go.
keep
Because if
it
I
up.
get with someone that's super skinny, then now I'm starting to get looked at. So I got to place. You got to put. You should go behind a sumo guy, where they go. They go.
Oh, this
I mean,
guy's
this
killing
guy
it. Yeah.
is exhausted from. Two sumo guys go in, and he's like, and there's a third, and you get right in the middle. So when they get to you, he's like, no, go ahead, you're fine.
Yeah.
And then so you don't even get measured because the guy's too tired from measuring the tape of the sumo guys. How often do they measure their
Everyone.
every day?
All the time. Do you know what your waistline is?
30, 34, 33. Could be a 32 if I had some 32 pants.
Yeah.
But I'd say 34.
Let me look it up here.
Average waist size of Japan. It's gonna be smaller than ours.
It's got to
Give
be.
me that.
It's got. I mean, they're. It's against the law.
Yeah. I looked it up last night, but I forgot. Do you know? I didn't.
It's against the law. I mean, you can't. Can they only have one
Wow.
kid too somewhere?
33.5 inches for men and 30.
I mean, that's the limit, and 35 for women.
Why is
I mean,
women
I don't
more?
think. Well, I don't agree.
Because you can be pregnant.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, Aaron jumped on
Well,
that
for a
fast.
brief stint, then. Well, the women one I think's great, but the no, they go. When you say that, you're like, I'll be honest with you, I get it.
Yeah.
And no,
Starting to make sense.
yeah. Why are the men smaller than the women?
Maybe Aaron's right.
Because they get to 35 for a woman. I mean, women are just crushing it over there. Then they can do whatever they want. 33 is tiny for a guy.
That is tiny, man.
I mean, that's a small fella. I mean, 35 is.
Mm.
I mean, that's crazy. So 33.5 is. It's against the law. They get fined, dude. I mean, that's crazy because we know you're, dude, you bring a lot to the table. But we can't afford to hire
Well,
you.
it's between the ages of 40 and 74, so you'd be okay, Aaron.
Oh, good.
You got 12.
That's when you got to lose the weight? After 40?
Yeah.
40 to 74? That doesn't even make sense.
No. It's
So they're saying that's when your metabolism was slow. That's when it's probably the hardest.
But that's when you start to run in. You got
that's
other
when you
health
got problems.
right?
So if you stay in that window,
Right.
except women to get to be these, she'll be old fatsos over there, and the men have to get it together. I mean, come on. Where else is there one child? Isn't that somewhere China?
China. That's no longer,
Oh, okay.
but it was for a long time.
You can only have one kid.
Yeah.
I feel like you talk to someone over there and you're like, speed limit laws are crazy. They go, yeah, I don't even know, man. We have a lot of stuff going on. Like, there's just no one you can't bring up. They're listening to this podcast. Isn't daylight savings time nuts? Why we have to deal with that? And he's like, yeah, for 34 years, I had my waist measured.
They're like, I'm not allowed to read a book.
Yeah.
I
Then he goes, he's like, 34 years out of my waist measure, I had to lose all this weight. It's like, well, at least I bet your women look good. He goes, yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? But no, they're allowed to get as big as they want. All right, what's the Milan's smile law?
In Milan, Italy, you have to smile. It's against the law if you don't smile, unless you're attending a funeral or a hospital worker or at the bedside of an ill family member. They think it brings tourism and joy.
So you just have to walk around and smile.
I think it's another one of these laws that's never enforced, but
Okay.
it is on the books.
Hey. Hey, I think it would be like you walk around going, hey, I wouldn't come here, man. This place is nuts.
Yeah.
It's like it would make me not want to go.
Yeah.
I guess you almost like they should just say, look friendly.
Yeah.
Just be friendly.
Just be nice.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice and friendly.
That's so funny.
I went to Singapore. They have some laws. They're
Yeah.
super clean.
Yeah, they have, of course, litter laws. You can't chew gum there. It's against
Yeah.
a law to chew gum. So if that gum
You
you
can't
stole,
chew gum in Singapore?
Yeah.
no, because they're too
'Cause
afraid.
they don't want you to throw it down on the ground.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
they have very serious litter laws in Singapore.
Yeah.
Cigarettes?
super
They smoke
clean.
cigarettes?
I don't
Maybe
think so.
I'm
Yeah,
sure,
that's the
I
most
don't know.
littered item in the world is cigarette butts.
Is that fact or you just?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
I think if you threw one down, you'd be in big trouble.
Wow. I had no idea.
No swearing in public in the Caribbean.
That was
An old law. I used to do a joke about laws. Something about a bucket. I don't remember. You can't drink out of a bucket in Georgia or
Yeah.
something.
50 Cent
Was there a
was
lot of people drinking out of a bucket? I would do something like that. It was I forget. That's always everybody's first joke. Is like you pick because all these laws are very easy to make fun of
yeah.
because they're ridiculous, and so you just explain the law. You can't drink a bucket out of a Georgia. There's a lot of people drinking buckets out of Georgia. That's the gist of it. I'll probably bring it
That
back.
sounds good.
Yeah, it did pretty good.
50 Cent was arrested at a concert for swearing on stage during a concert in St. Kitts, a Caribbean nation that strictly prohibits the use of profanity in public. During a performance of his song "Pimp," he uttered a bad word audience and was arrested, according to TMZ. He was booked after the performance and appeared in court to pay a fine and settle the charge.
We
Wow.
we should thrive in the Caribbean then.
The show?
This show should be #1 podcast in the Caribbean.
Should be.
Should be. It's not.
Yeah.
We've actually had trouble breaking in there. But if anybody knows anybody in the Caribbean, then there you go. All right. Let's do a couple more and we'll be done.
All right. The small Texas town. This is one Aaron had.
Yeah, I think this is super funny that there's a small town in Texas called Marshall, Texas. It's like 25,000 people.
Yeah.
And up until very recently, about a quarter of all the patent lawsuits in the country were filed in this small Texas town. So multi-million dollar lawsuits are tried and filed in this small town.
Yeah.
And there's a couple reasons for that. The first is they go real quickly through them. But the second reason is patents are very complicated and technical and specific. And so you want a dumb jury that you can convince.
Really?
So they've determined, right or wrong, that the jurors in this city are easy to convince for
Yeah.
whatever you want to convince them of.
Yeah.
I just think that's so funny
Yeah.
that
This
this
town
town, I
is-
mean, I don't even know if they know it or if they care.
Yeah.
But all these big companies, because they try cases there all the time,
Yeah.
they invest tons of money. Like there's a big ice skating rink in front of the courthouse that's Samsung sponsored because Samsung gets sued there all the time, and they just want the people to like Samsung in there. It's hilarious.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a small town.
And so they just chose it. Because
Yeah.
Marshall is dumb.
Well,
that's
I
what they
think
think.
the way I've seen it worded is they're like it's a little bit of less sophisticated jurors.
Yeah.
So, and they also just don't really have a concept of how money works. So they'll be like, they decide the settlement numbers.
Yeah.
The juries do. So they're like, 50 million. You know, they don't know.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Do they know how to vote?
What's yeah? You
Yeah.
might need those are the people you might need to tell how to vote. I don't know.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the stuff goes in there, and I mean every patent. I mean, so the law, the I wonder if it's like some of the attorneys are like love it. But I guess everybody brings in their own attorneys. No one's from there. They're just using.
You go.
How
yeah.
can they pick where they go?
Well, that's the thing. So if I want to sue Brian and my
Yeah.
company's based in Nashville, I don't want to try that case in Nashville.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to try it, so I'll open up a small little office in
Oh,
Marshall,
Yeah.
or I'll create some kind of professional relationship with that city, and that will allow you to file the case in
Yeah,
that town.
In that town.
They've tightened those regulations. Like it's harder and harder to do now, but for a while they're like, just open up a little corner office in this
Yeah.
small town, and then you can file the case there.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
So they could do. I wonder if that town just gets all the cool stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a lot of money coming in because all these big companies and lawyers come into town, and
Yeah. Probably some nice. They probably have some nice hotels.
yeah,
Get new phones, or
Yeah,
like you
Samsung.
want. Yeah. I mean, it's brands that want to be treated nice.
well, they want the town to
Yeah.
like them
Yeah.
because the town's going to decide whether this company infringed on a patent or not.
Yeah.
And it's just all day long. The patents are.
So yeah, it's a big part of that town.
Yeah.
It used to be.
It used to be, yeah. Things have kind of changed. It's still a hotbed for it. But
Oh, I thought it was a Supreme Court ruling that changed it.
It did, yeah. It did change it a little bit, but they're still doing patent
Yeah.
lawsuits out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
just not like they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I'll share a couple more unusual state ones. In Tennessee, it's illegal to share your Netflix password.
Really?
Passed in 2011, this law is directed at hackers who sell login credentials in bulk. However, individuals who share passwords and don't live under the same roof are also included.
I mean, I wonder if they live. Even if you shared a password with your wife.
No, it said they don't live under the same roof.
Oh. So if you're divorced,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then it's against the law.
Yeah.
And how would they ever catch anybody doing that?
They don't.
Didn't Netflix even say they were like, we don't care?
Somebody, yeah.
HBO came out and were like, it doesn't affect our bottom line at all. Just share it with your
Yeah, maybe it was
friends. We don't
HBO's
care."
president.
Yeah, there's no way. It has
said
to
that.
affect.
They said there's no indication that it affects our subscriber rate. So just share your password. If anything, it'll allow people to test it out,
Yeah.
and then they can get it themselves.
Yeah. So I guess it's like, yeah, go share it because it doesn't really. Everybody wants their own anyway. Eventually, you're going to be like, I'm tired of sharing.
Yeah.
I'm still on my buddy Dan Checkey's Google. I get YouTube no ads
Yeah.
and Google Play Music, and I get it, and I get YouTube TV all from Shacky because he signed up a long time ago. It was like 5 friends,
Mhm.
and so I'm still on his.
You were on my Netflix for a while.
Yep. But you do eventually you're like, I just want my own. I want my own Apple ID. That's my wife. We always have one. I think we pay. I'd love for that. It all gets interlocked together. I get just.
What do you think about these married couples that have like joint email addresses and joint Facebook pages and stuff? Could you get into that?
Maybe. If I don't want to do it, I mean, ours is just different because you got to have your own. But I could see if I had a private one and I was like, just put me and Laura on it so we can see what's going on, and like she could just check, and because a lot of it you just want to see how what's up with your friends and kind of keep an eye on
Mhm.
people you grew up with. So I could see that, but yeah, I guess it seems weird.
Yeah,
Usually it's one person that's dominating
that's true.
that's
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It's not like the other person. I would imagine a lot of times it's the wife
Yeah.
and the husband doesn't even know that the account's there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably true.
And then and she just goes, "This is me, and let me tell you all my political opinions."
What's the
And
purpose? Is it to keep them honest?
No, I think they just think they're just going to use it together. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's.
I think it's exactly what I said it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm
What?
saying.
It's a woman it's a wife that has it. It says, "Here's me and my husband's Facebook," but they're not equally using it. The idea is generally let's just do one together.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever do. One person's going to dominate it, and the other one's not going to ever check it. But it's like just to stay in touch with people. That's the logic behind it.
Hmm. Would you tell, you're both married, would you tell your wife your email passwords?
She knows all mine.
Yeah.
She can get into everything.
Unlock your phone and everything?
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're that way too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever. She's my emails and she has all the money. I don't. She knows where all the money is and
Yeah.
all that stuff. I don't know any of that stuff.
So you're not going to do that?
I don't know. Definitely not. I'm not doing it now. Not
Yeah.
doing it yet.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do it now.
I would be,
Yeah.
and that she would never ask me, but I would feel weird if she asked me.
Yeah.
And I have some friends who they said their girlfriends were like, "Give me your password." I had a friend whose girlfriend went on his phone and installed her face to be able to unlock the iPhone.
Yeah.
And I thought that was insane.
It's just too emotional when you're dating. You're dating, so it's like still a competition in a way. Like
Yeah.
I feel it's too emotional and too, they want. I don't know. It's like giving someone the keys to your apartment or something.
Yeah.
It's the stakes are too high.
Yeah.
Because you're dating, you could still not. You could break up and
Yeah.
it could be over. So I feel like they want control over. They're trying to show me some kind of like that this is going to go farther.
Yeah.
You're not hiding anything or whatever. And then yours is the claustrophobia feeling of going like, I got to give me something that's my own.
Right.
Like I'm not, and then you get married and that gets beaten out of you and just your whole life, and then you don't know what's going on and you're just, you walk around, you don't know where anything's at and they control everything. She's like the government. I rely on her.
Yeah.
You just walk around and where's this, where's that? And they got you.
Wow.
But I could see the beginning right now. You don't. Yeah. Because you're still like, we're not married. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get off me.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we sat down day one and here's all my passwords. It's just over time, there'll be a reason like I need her to log into something for me.
Yeah.
And then, so I give it to her. She may not know all of them, but
Yeah.
she knows some.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah.
For sure. And my fiance hasn't asked me to do that, but I know people that it's been weird about.
She's going to now.
Maybe.
Here we go. And then we're going to have the big debate of you're going to come back and go, no, but it makes sense. She didn't need it. And I think it's fine. Like, she had to get in there. Nothing to hide. Like, so why not? Like keep your stuff separate. You should, I know guys that with the bank accounts, they get married. I read there's an article about someone that had 2 separate bank accounts being like, because most fights in marriage are going to be about money.
Yeah.
So we both split our bills, we pay the bills. And then that way, if I want to buy stuff, she can't say, why are you buying that? And he can't, same way for him, no one's bothering them. And so they do that.
Yeah.
They do that. You just have 2 different bank accounts. And then, yeah, do that. I don't know. My parents used to put money. I had a bank card, a separate bank card. Even when I got married, and they would always put like a couple $100 in there because I'd be on the road and if I wanted to go do something, and we had no money, and I'm not making any money on the road, and then Laura was working, and so I would always just still get money from them.
Yeah.
And I was married. 26, 27
My
years
mom
old.
is still on my bank account because she set it
Yeah.
up with me when I was like
Yeah.
13 or 14.
Well, so she could put money in there for
She
you.
could put money. She
Yeah.
could take money out.
We've
Yeah.
talked about this.
Yeah, but they told me I have to go in
Yeah.
to the bank that I set it up.
When
which
was the
is-
last time your parents gave you money?
I was in college. Yeah.
You haven't taken any since comedy? Like they haven't given you $20, $100?
Not that I can think. Maybe they did. I can't think of
Yeah.
anything.
Man, my
I was
parents
on their
gave
health
me-
insurance. So I was 26.
Yeah,
you know.
rode that one out.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, right?
Yep.
We're good. All right, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it. We hope you have a good week, and we will see you back here. We recorded this on Monday, so it comes out Wednesday. Usually we were doing Tuesdays, so that's why if the voting stuff, if you are wondering, it's like it is the day before because we usually do it Tuesday. So, but we will be back next week. As always, thank you so much for listening, and see you next week. Bye.